All right. This video, we're going to look at uh, ways to prevent the mutation of an object. Okay. And there are two ways, two methods that we can use that will uh, do that. So I'm working in the same file that I was in the previous lesson, dealing with objects, still in here in this space. What we're going to look at are these two things. We have um, Object.seal and Object.freeze. Okay. Sometimes when we have an object, there are times where we don't want to make any kind of changes to it, right? Sometimes we may want to set up to where we can't add new properties because we've seen that with objects we can always add new properties to an object. For example, if I have var, I'll say object A. Well, let me see. Let me clean this up a little bit. I just like it to look a certain way. Okay, so I have here var object A, and I can have say ID1, and I could say name Satch, right? So I can always come over here with this object and I can add a property to it. So in other words, what I could do is I could say object A dot age gets 45. And this works. I can, if I come over here and I log out object A, when I do that, I can see that this age property has been added to the object. Sometimes there are cases for that where we will want to do that. And then there are times where we would not want to do that. There are times where once I build out my object, that I don't want to have the option of adding a property to it. I mean, that could, easily corrupt the data, if you will. So, how can I do that? How can I uh, prevent a new property from being added? Well, I could do that by using Object.seal, and it works like this. I simply will say Object.seal, and inside I will pass in Object A. So now Object A has been sealed from where it is. So meaning what should happen, unless they're lying to me, is I should not be able to add any new properties to this object. So if I say object A dot, I don't know, shoe size 12. Let's see what happens if I log out object A. Should work. And it does. So it sealed it up. So this object A dot shoe size, this property did not get added to my object, which is cool. That's what I want. I don't want to add anything else to it. That now with dot seal, I can still update the values. Okay, so I can, say object A dot name is Herbert. In which case, when I log out object A, I can update the values. So Object.seal will allow me, well, it will prevent me from adding new properties to the object. However, I can still update the properties, so I can add value or give it a new value. Okay, so this is one tactic right here that we can use, Object.seal. And again, let me make a comment of that. Object.seal prevents the adding or deletion, actually, of properties I'll say values can be updated. So that's Object.seal. All right. So there's that. Let's do another object. I'm going to say var object B is ID1 city, Los Angeles, state. I don't know why I do it like that. California. So here with this object B, what I want to do is I want to not only prevent the updating of values. Well, I want to not only prevent, from being able to add new properties, but I also want it to where set up to where I cannot add or update the values. And we do that with Object.freeze. Prevents any mutation of object. So if I come over here, because I can't, let me take that back. Apparently now we can change the name of things geographically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say Object.freeze, and we're going to pass in object B. So let's see what happens if I try to add a new property to object B. Let's see if that works. If I say object B dot governor, it's going to get Satch. I'm going to try to add a new property to object B, and let's see what happens if I console object B. Let's see if this works, unless they lie to me. Nope, it did not add the property, so there's no object.governor, right? That didn't work. Okay, so that's fine. I see that works. Let me see if I can change the name of the state. Okay, so I'm going to say object B dot state is going to get Satchland. I'm going to console.log object B. And no, it would not let me change the name of the state either. So, as you can imagine, with Object.seal and Object.freeze, that these are two very important properties that you may want to use. You may need to use, correct? Depending on your data set and what this data represents. because in the instance like object B, I don't want to be able to change this data, right? We're not going to change the name of a city or a state. So there, I would need to use Object.freeze to freeze that object as it is. That way it cannot be mutated. Or, if I don't want to add properties to an object, I build an object out and we don't need to add anything else to it. I want to prevent that, or deleting properties. Then what I will do is I'll use Object.seal. So these are two different tools that you have in the toolbox that you can use at your disposal. So as you're building and you're working with objects and you're working with these data sets, you have to ask yourself, do I want the ability to mutate the data or not? Should it be mutated? And again, it's case by case, dealing with the data set and what that data represents. So that's a little brief video on Object.seal and Object.freeze, what they do and what's the difference between the two. So again, that's another tool you have in your toolbox. This is a very quick video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all those things, so we can get the executive producer all the things that they want. All right, we're gonna take care.